Sing me a song of a lass that is gone.
Hello and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Kaylee and today's video is a series video about the amazing book Go Tell the Bees That I Am Gone, written by Diana Gabaldon. Now, if you are not wanting this book to be spoiled for you, I highly recommend going to another video, as we're going to talk inclusively about everything that happens in this chapter and possibly the chapters leading up to it. So if you haven't gotten a little bit of the way into this book, then please go to another video. But if you're here and you're all about spoilers, then let's talk all about today's chapter. So we're up to chapter 19 and it is called Daylight Haunting. Now, this chapter was predominantly told by Claire, and it was a little bit longer than some of the other chapters that we've been through. But again, it's very much taking place in the span of about 15-20 minutes or maybe half an hour. So, I mean, the chapters themselves, even though they're getting longer, the actual time period within the chapters is staying the same. It's not great amounts of time, which is totally fine. I'm actually really starting to appreciate this more within the chapters. Again, because I had such a big break over the holiday season, it's like I'm just slowly building my way back into this book. But I felt absolutely heartbroken for Claire in this chapter. It really does show how much trauma the poor woman has gone through, and just how a simple little outing can bring it all back bubbling up to the surface. So the chapter starts with Jamie and Claire taking all of their grandkids and the adopted grandkids and pretty much the little tribe of kids over to young Ian and Rachel's house. Now, on the way to the house, we know that Bluebell, the dog that has been sort of adopted by the family, is also coming along, and there's lots of discussions between Jamie and Claire about all the different grandkids, but one in particular comes up, and that is Fanny. Now, we know Fanny isn't a biological grandkid, but I'm just putting her in that realm that she's going to be a grandkid. And it comes up in discussion between Jamie and Claire of why does Jamie actually call her Frances and not Fanny like everybody else? And it's really interesting because Jamie explains, well, even in your time, Fanny is sort of, a word that you wouldn't want to describe somebody, and it's basically a whore's name here in this time. And Claire was like, well, yeah, that's true, but it's still her name. And then more goes into the conversation, into the text, and you realise that it's really a mark of respect, not only for Fanny that Jamie calls her Frances, but also because when William left Frances in Jamie's care, that was the name that William left with her, or William called her. I thought that was really lovely. It does, we know the amount of love that Jamie has for William and all the grandkids and just everybody, really. But the fact that it was such a mark of respect, not only for her, but for William, it just shows, doesn't it? It really shows the depth of Jamie in regards to what respect means and loyalty, and just, I love these traits in Jamie. And every time I read or watch an episode of this show, I just get reminded so much that it's so important to him. And that is something in this entire book that I love, is the respect and loyalty that characters have for each other. I'm in love with that. It's just it's a nice thing to be reading in the times that we live in, that, characters are full of respect and loyalty. Bluebell is also a predominant character in these last couple of chapters, I'm noticing. And now I don't feel by any means that Bluebell is going to take over where we all fell in love with Rollo or anything like that in this book, but it's lovely to see that, we have that little side character that's going to have a bit of a personality as well. Now, Bluebell is clearly in love with Fanny and he's Fanny's loyal companion. And it's coming out in this chapter a lot, they're going to be connected. Maybe that will be the new young Ian and Rollo, will be Fanny and Bluebell. And I think this is really cute and adorable. And it's talked about a fair bit in this chapter, how much, Bluebell is connected with Fanny and is her little, like I said, not side character, but like her little companion, and they're going to be a little partner in crime, I think, coming up throughout the book. Now, they're on their trek, basically, to young Ian and Rachel's house, and again, I didn't realise that Bluebell was actually a raccoon hunting dog, which does come out in this chapter. Now, the grandkids all see a raccoon, and Bluebell spots the raccoon, and it's in this little scene and this little takeout that Jamie actually gets Fanny to shoot at the raccoon, and she is a pretty good shot right from the start. I mean, she's got a pretty good teacher too with Jamie, but she manages to shoot the raccoon. Bluebell goes off and grabs it, and then also is very obedient when coming back with the raccoon and drops it when told to. So, like I said, that connection with Bluebell and Fanny and Jamie, it's all sort of sticking together. There's not going to be, I don't believe, any turmoil there. You know, I don't want this dog to become loved like Rollo and then gone in an instant. But, yeah, I thought that was really fascinating that Fanny has now been able to, you know, have her first shot of the gun in the family environment too, like Jermaine and, who else was it? The other grandkids were all there, and they were all sort of, you know, rallying around Fanny that, oh, well done, you know, and just the happiness there. The connection there. I just love that it is a little family outing and Fanny is so included. That's probably what I'm getting at here. But then we have a bit of a moment where the boys go off to skin the raccoon and dissect it and all that sort of stuff. Now, Claire starts to feel sick at this point, and during this I was a little bit shocked because I thought, this is not a blood sort of, you know, Claire's a doctor. Blood is not going to worry her, and it took me a good few minutes to realise where the story was leading. And it was then that I realised that, well, hang on a minute, this is all about Bluebell, and the fact that Bluebell is connecting Claire's memory to her trauma and, you know, the horrible things that happened to her. Of course, Jamie sees that Claire is not herself and not feeling very well, and he sends the kids off to go and deal with the raccoon by themselves, and they get to stop and have their own little dialect in the book. It's here that the conversation leads straight back to the bloke that, you know, attacked Claire and how Jamie had killed him. Claire asks Jamie why he's actually okay with Bluebell being there with them. Like, does it bring up any sort of memories of the fact that, you know, you've killed her owner or her previous owner? And he explains to Claire that, well, when Bluebell first showed up, yeah, he thought that, like, the hounds of hell were coming to collect him. But in fact, you know, now seeing the connection that Bluebell has with the family, especially with the kids, that it was nothing to do with that at all. And then the conversation leads into Jamie and Claire discussing how Claire feels bad for Jamie for killing this bloke, and, you know, it was for her, and the dialect, like, I feel so badly for Claire at this point, especially because this poor woman has been through enough, and now she's feeling the guilt of Jamie going off and killing him. But Jamie explains to her very clearly that if he had left him alive, the conversations that he could have had with other people, you know, he could have gone down and sprouted and talked about the fact that he had done that to Claire. And then if that had come back to the other Ridge residents, that, you know, well, he was allowed to live, and look what he did to Claire. He could come and do that to us, and then somebody else could come and do that to them. And it was more a matter of, he needed to do that to reassure everybody on the Ridge that their safety was number one. And when he gave the command of kill them all, once he found Claire, like, it had to be fulfilled even up to that point. I totally understand that, and I mean, I'm not explaining it very well. It's such a hard thing to talk about in regards to what they're feeling, because I fully agree with everything that Jamie is saying. Like, if this has happened, he's got to go. Mate, you got to go. No matter if you look like a sad old man walking down the street when you're discovered however long after the fact, you got to go. So I'm fully, like, just go Jamie. All hands up in the air, clap, 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 go Jamie. Kill whoever needs to be killed in this series, because we don't have time for evil people like that in the world, let alone my happy little Outlander fantasy world. Like, we don't have time for these people. Be gone. This is probably the first chapter in this book that I truly don't believe my video is going to do justice for. I am not really sure I've explained everything very well. So if you have a better way of explaining this chapter, please pop it in the comments down below, because I don't want anyone who's not reading the books and just going through our videos here to miss out on what is probably a really important aspect of this whole book. So if you have a better way of explaining it, because like I said, I truly don't believe I've done this chapter justice, but if you have a better understanding, because there are so many people in our little Outlander community here that do such a fantastic job in the comments of explaining things and answering other people's questions. I get so thrilled reading them, because that you guys help me. Every time I jump into the comment section and I read a comment, I have a new appreciation and a new aspect for that sort of area that we're talking about, and I absolutely love it. It is truly one of the highlights of my day to go through and read all the comments. So thank you very much. And if you can help me explain this chapter better, please go ahead. I would be very appreciative. We are also so close to 3,000 subscribers. I thought we would have hit it by now, but we haven't. I want to do a Outlander book giveaway. So if you do not have a copy of the Go Tell the Bees That I Am Gone book, please, when I post the giveaway, jump in there and participate, because I will have one sent to you, or I will send you my own copy if you are here in Australia. But for international, I want everyone to be included, so I will jump on and purchase a book for you, but it'll come from your country, because as we know, Australia is just the land of not cool postage at the moment. We can't ship items to America, and America can't ship to us. It's absolutely insane, our postage system at the moment. But when we hit 3,000, I'm going to do a giveaway of some description, Outlander based, probably more than a book. It'll be a pack of some description, but I'm just so thankful for everyone who has hit that subscribe button and joined in this little Outlander community. It absolutely means the world to me. I hope everyone is enjoying the book as much as I am, and for all you fast readers that have finished it, I really hope you've enjoyed it. I will be back tomorrow for another video and another chapter review, so I will see you then. Have a great day, guys. Bye.
Sing me a song